It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans. Thanks for coming back this week. We had a really fun episode this week that had VR, strippers, and rock bottom. Right back after this.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Let's start with something serious.
Exactly.
Because this episode took a turn.
It did.
It did take a turn.
Would this be your stripper song?
No, definitely not. Definitely wouldn't be my stripper song. Hey guys, I am Mary Lou Mandel, your host for tonight's AFTERBUZZ for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm joined by Jessie. Thanks for joining me again.
Yeah,
Tell everyone
hey
where they
guys.
can find you.
I'm Jessie Zahner, and you can find me all over social media at Athletic.
Nice. And I am Mary Lou Mandel. You can find me all over social media at Mary Lou Mandel. So let's get into this.
Yes.
All sorts of daddy issues,
Oh my
all sorts of
gosh.
problems.
Yes.
You know, they all are working through some things. So this one I felt was a really dark episode. So first thoughts. How are you feeling?
I mean, it's so them. Like, this is who they are in the show. So it's definitely a dark episode, but I can see how I could see them doing this kind of stuff. So
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me, although it does. It's hilarious. I love the episode.
I really liked that with this one, they didn't mess with Mac too much because we had Mac's big breakthrough last week. So
Yes.
we were working on other people's issues
Right.
in this one.
Yes.
Yes. So the episode it's season 12, episode 7, PTSD. So
Like
I
Sweet
was
D.
Sweet D, and I was hoping that we would have a little more focus on D because I feel like it really wasn't about her. She just was like the catalyst
Right.
for this. But I wanted D to be able to work through some of her issues.
Yes.
She just kind of realized she's rock bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing. Okay, so we start the episode, and I like that they've been kind of doing different intros. So we were using, it was like an action movie font with their location and time.
Yes.
And they were in Fallujah, Iraq. Mm-hmm. And it starts out with Frank and Mac are like in this war VR game. Well,
Right.
they shoot a kid, and then we realize that they're in a VR game.
Yes, and virtual reality is so huge now. So I think this is so funny, but I haven't been in a virtual reality game. So when I saw it, like, it's hilarious. And there's a reason I don't go in these games because they are scary, and I never thought about getting PTSD from the
Yeah.
from the games themselves.
Yeah, it's really trippy. Like I work a lot in tech, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's fun, but my first VR experience was just like a movie. It wasn't something that was interactive, but I got emotional because it was like the rocket launching, and there was like a speech about like going into space, and
Right.
it was
Well, people say
really
there's this
rad.
new zombie one out where like these zombies are coming after you, and it's really, really scary. And like, I'm afraid of scary movies, let alone being in virtual reality with a bunch of zombies. I literally think I would have PTSD.
Yeah, no, that's not for you. That's
No,
not for
it's
don't
definitely not
play
for me.
any games like
No.
that. But so we see that they're just doing that, and then Mac is going to give the kids CPR. We come out to the bar. We see that Dennis and Dennis and Charlie are watching them, and they're like, "Is he like blowing a kid again?" I don't know. Of course, it's super funny, but they're just watching him, and then they said that they've been playing for 3 straight days. Now, like I've played games, like video games, and like
Right.
that happens.
Yeah.
Where you
I mean,
just, like,
I've
disappear
never
into the game.
played. Yes, I've never played for 3 days straight, but I definitely can imagine people doing that.
Yes. And then I'll get into the point where, like, not necessarily nightmares, but I guess sometimes I would have dreams about games that I was, like, really, really getting into, but
Yeah.
the music would play in my head as I go
Oh
through
my
the
gosh,
day.
that's so funny.
Yeah, and I was just like, I have to go, like, find all the rupees.
Well, have you ever watched somebody do virtual reality? Because I have done that, and it is hilarious.
Yeah. It's really great because,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, you're going through all the
wandering
emotions.
around, like, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they announced this earlier than this episode, but there was a commercial during this for
Yes.
their It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia VR project called Project Badass. So I'm excited to go and try that out.
Yeah, I definitely am gonna check that out. I gotta do all.
Yes,
this
and if
Always
any of
Sunny
you
stuff.
guys are at
Yes.
home are trying Project Badass, please let us know in the comments what you think of it, and you know if there's any like tips on how to beat the game, because I like to beat the game. I'm very much about beating the game. So then
terrible.
Dee comes into the bar, all happy, saying she's been dating this stripper Mike. They had a great night. They had sex and they wept together. And he's like Channing Tatum, and
Yeah.
they said, is he like charming Tate man? And then they're like, no, it's Channing Tatum. He's Magic Mike. He wept tears of joy. And they're like, well, he's only coming back to the bar because you like stole his watch or something. She's like, no. He like wants to see me. Okay, so then he walks in. Mike says, great, thank you so much, last night was so wonderful, and she's feeling all high on top of the world, and he's like, yeah, because sleeping with you, I realized I hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to get his watch.
Yeah.
So they were right. So that's interesting for her, and I don't know, like, have you ever hooked up with somebody and realized, like, this is a new low for me?
No, I can't say I have, but I mean, this is all like so them. This is so Dee too. Like, it's just, I don't know, why she expected anything different, but that's the show.
She's so hopeful. She wants to be better. She thinks that she's a badass.
Do you think she wants to be better? Well, yeah, she definitely thinks she's a badass.
Yeah.
But do you think she wants to be better?
I think she wants people to see her as
Yes,
better.
for sure.
I don't think she wants to do work to improve herself.
Yes.
She just wants to be there.
Yes.
Already. And that's kind of how these characters are. So we've got Dee's on this rant, and then we're thinking about, like, oh, how she's rock bottom, and she's like, no, I'm not rock bottom, I'm a rock. And then Cricket walks in, and we're like, oh yeah, this is not the first man she's ruined.
Yes.
Not the first man she's ruined. So Dee is on a mission now to prove that she is a rock. Charlie and Dennis start talking about this, saying, like, oh, there's lots of storm outs today. Yeah, everybody's feeling a little emotional. And then Charlie's like, yeah, like, I've got issues. And then Dennis, you have issues. You were raped by a librarian. And then Dennis goes into this, like, introspective moment. He's like, no, you know what? I'm going to do it. And he's like, well, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to strip. Because he had said, like, why is Mike so mad? He gets to take off his clothes in front of all these horny women.
Right.
So now Dennis has gotten in his head. It's like, of course I want to do that.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. And I'm surprised that he hasn't already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so their style.
Yeah,
Like, it's
totally
just right
so
up
their style.
alley. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then he gets Charlie in on it. He's like, no, you're going to be my boy. You're going to help, like, clean up my back.
Yeah.
It's like, I just need you to go in there and check if there's any moles or anything. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were going to show that, but they didn't show any of that kind of stuff.
I thought they were going to, too.
Yeah, that didn't quite happen. But then we get with we see that Frank and Mac, they're freaking out over the game at this point, and they're like, oh, dude, I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
I gotta take a break. So then we get to another scene of the game, and Mac shoots a guy, and he wakes up the guy. He goes to the guy and he sees that it's his dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love you, I love, and he's like, no, Dad, tell me, who do you love? When he wakes up, he realizes it's a dream. Right. So he's going a little crazy. He calls up Frank, and he's like, I gotta quit the game. He's like, no, you don't have to quit the game. You just have to stuff it down with Brown. Go get drunk.
Yes.
That is totally
That's
Frank
so Frank.
advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally Frank advice. Yeah, because they're all alcoholics. But I was surprised that Mac wasn't already drunk.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought he had been drinking before that, but I guess not.
Yeah, but there's a good little moment there that you had caught, that when he woke up from the dream, that the guy who was from the first episode was, like, in their bed. So they have all these callbacks of old characters in this episode. It was really like,
it was kind of a confusing episode because it was just like kept going back and forth, and I was like, okay, what's real and what's not? And he's dreaming, and then is he really sleeping in that bed with those guys, or is he sleeping on the couch? Or, like, what?
Right.
I was confused about that, but the guy from the first episode was sleeping in bed with them, and then I was like, what's he doing there?
Yeah, I think he lives with them.
Oh, he lives with them now.
Yeah,
because he was in the house, like, sitting on the couch with Frank.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's in a different room. Like, maybe he does other things during the day.
You know.
He's got a
Goes
life.
out and about and comes back.
He's got a life.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now we've got Mac, who's trying to figure out, he's trying to, like, get past these nightmares he's having of the game. Dee is trying to prove that she is a rock, and Charlie and Dennis are going to be strippers. So we cut to Charlie and Dennis. They're outside of, like, a party.
Yes.
And they're like, he's like, okay, like, oh, like, I've never cut somebody's back who was, like, so muscular. And Dennis is like, well, like, thank you so much. So we're trying to figure out what's Dennis's stripper character.
Yes.
His stripper. Of course, it's going to be something uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
And so he asks Charlie, well, who do girls want to have sex with?
Jugglers.
Duh.
Yeah,
of course it's jugglers. Why wouldn't it be? Why would it be anything else? He's like, no, it's their dads. It's their dad. What twisted? Dennis is so twisted, but I love him for it.
Yes.
And then they look inside the party, and it's a bunch of older ladies.
Yes.
And so then Dennis starts to, like, get a little bit weird.
Right. Well, and then because Charlie brings up the situation with the librarian, and so he's extra weirded out by it, and they're kind of caught off guard.
Yep. And he's like, stop bringing that up, because Dennis is going to deny that forever.
Yes.
But that's the root of all his twistedness.
Yes.
Is that unfortunate incident with Miss Klinsky, the librarian. And then they open up the door and they're like, what are you, over 40? Like, do you want to just get in here and like whip your dicks out for some money?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, all right. So they go and do it. But they become these characters.
Yeah.
What do you think about the daddy and the boy?
Oh my God, it was so funny. So Dennis decides, who do women want like when they grow up? Like, they want their dad, so I'm gonna dress up like a dad. And he has like this sweater vest on, and he just looks so ridiculous. And the whole fact that like Charlie then was like, oh, I'm gonna be your boy, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And
But
he's
it's
like, but
so
you said I was your
funny,
boy.
though. And like,
So,
it's so them. Like, these characters are developed so well. I say that episode after episode, but like, it's so true. Like, this is what you expect out of these guys.
Totally, it totally is. So then we cut to we've got Dee, who's taking Mike because she's trying to prove that she's a rock. She's like, I'm going to help him recover. So Dee, Mike, Frank, and Mac are all at this like military vet PTSD support group.
Yes.
None of them belong there.
Right.
None of them belong there, because Frank is like, well, my generation, we drank our problems away, but because you little like young people want to talk about your problems, we're gonna go here.
Right.
So, but then we find out Mike, you know, he's like, yeah, she's like, you were in the military, let's work out your military. He's like, well, that's just a character. That's just a character. And then so they go in, and I love when the gang does this, where they go for some kind of help.
Yes.
And they just don't shut up.
Yes. I know, when they do stuff, they like go all in on it, but like to the wrong extent.
Yes.
But, you know, so they show up and they're like, you know, Mac's all feeling weird about it, and he's like, or Frank goes, you know, they're not even going to notice you, don't worry, they probably won't even call on you. And so they all sit down, and the first person they call on is them, because of course it's like not a big group, so they're like, the guy who's maybe the therapist or the leader of the group, he's like, okay, I noticed right off the bat we have some new people. And he calls them out.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
And have you, I'm sure like everybody's been in these situations where you go into a room where you're the new person, and you're like, just please don't look at me. Please don't look at me.
Oh, that's the worst. Oh, yeah.
And so now I go out of my way, if I'm in situations like that, to be the first person to talk, because I was like, you know what, I just need to.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Like, I just need to get it over with.
I'm totally awkward. Like, I will go in and I will make sure I'm wearing like not bright clothes, and I'll be looking down, and I'll like have resting bitch face on my face, so you can't, like, nobody wants to talk to me, and I'm just like hiding, like, don't call on me.
But that is, I will say, I still feel that way if I go to stand-up shows. I just want to not be noticed at stand-up shows. That makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I just don't go to them anymore. So any of my friends that are stand-up comics, thank you for not inviting me to your open mics. I can't. I don't have it in my heart.
Yeah.
But I support you. I support you in your dreams. I definitely do. So we get them talking. They decide they're not gonna. They don't need them anymore, because we find out that Mike, who plays video games, plays this game that Frank wants to play, which is the whole reason he wanted Mac to get better, so they could finish the game.
Right.
So there's like a negotiation that happens. So they're going to pay Mike $20 an hour to play this game.
Right.
And he's like, okay. So then Dee's feeling good, because she's like, listen, I negotiated you.
Yeah.
So this game, you felt bad about your video games. Now you're getting paid to play your video games. I am awesome.
Right.
I am not rock bottom. And then, you know, we see that Mac is still having nightmares. So they're like, you were asleep for 35 seconds, but like his dad was there again. But then he goes back to sleep.
Yes.
You know, and then that's what we realize later, that they just were sleep deprived.
Yes, and that's why it was so confusing, because like he was awake 1 second and then he's asleep, and so it was literally like he was awake for like 10 seconds and then he's sleeping again, and turns out all of this time he's just tired. Have you ever like been so tired?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That's like I travel for work every week, and sometimes like I wake up and I'm like, should I be on a plane? Should I be going to the airport? Am I coming from the airport? Like, what state am I in?
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely
it gets weird.
get like weird, but I don't think I've ever got like PTSD. Well, and I don't play these video games, so that could be why. But like, just how this worked out, it was so funny. He was just having like these weird dreams about his dad. And the other thing that I had a question about is, because I haven't played a video game like that, like, they're themselves in the video games. You don't see the person you're playing with as themselves, right?
Yeah, you don't see
like,
yourself, because all you see is what's in front of you.
Right.
So,
but like if I was playing with you, I'm not going to see you in the game.
Yeah, they had like helmets and stuff.
Yeah,
like for
exactly.
that. Yeah, or it would be a character that they created.
Yeah, but it's just so funny, because you see Frank like in his little like army getup, and he's walking around, and it was so funny.
That's funny. That is funny. So now we've got this final thing that Dee's trying to do. She's like, we're gonna do this like sorority party at the bar with Daddy and the boy and Mike to prove that, you know, the stripper thing is good for him. So Cricket comes in and makes an announcement. He's there like Matthew McConaughey, but of course it's wrong because Cricket's like so broken.
Yeah.
And all the shorty girls.
It's not the right Matthew McConaughey.
It's the wrong one. And then Dennis and Charlie have worked out this whole other thing. So they come out, they do their number.
Yes.
And the Cat's Cradle plays, and he's like,
and it was so awkward.
It's so awkward. And they're like, just take off your clothes. And they're doing a scene.
Yes.
They're like, we wanted to play, I want to play catch with you. I love you so much. So they're like, this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So lights cut out. And then Cricket announces Mike.
Yes.
Mike comes out and he's doing his stripper thing and he's like his military getup. And I knew already, I was like, oh no. Because Dee had said, like, you know what else I'm going to do for you tonight is reunite you with your daughter. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when they kept focusing on this one sorority girl so much, I was like, oh, this is so bad.
Yeah.
It's worse when you know it's coming.
Right.
Mike comes out, does his striptease. Mac gets a little action, which is great.
Does.
And we're like, so happy for him.
Yeah.
But the lights come up. He's standing on this girl with his dick in her face.
Yes.
That's, of course, the daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Of course it's the daughter. So that's so uncomfortable. But Dee comes out.
Yeah.
Dee comes out and she's like, ha, I got you. It was all a ploy.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because I knew, like, I had an idea that was going to happen with, like, his daughter because she was leading up to it, but I didn't know she was doing it in a bad way. Like, I literally thought she thought that was going to be okay.
Yeah.
So when she came out and she's like, I got you, like, this, I was like, oh, you go, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, was it rock bottom or was it a step up for her?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all pretty awful. They're awful people.
It was terrible.
They're all really, really awful. So, of course, Dee, and they're like, I think, Dee, this is your rock bottom. She's like, yeah, whatever. And then they decide to get drunk because, you know, push it down with Brown.
Yes,
Frank
exactly.
say.
Yeah.
And there it is. That was today's episode. I still feel a little uncomfortable about this one.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't know how to compare it. Like, this season's been so here and there. Like, I loved the last episode. I thought it was so funny. This one's like, nah, it was good, but I could use more Dee for sure. She's so funny. But
yeah, you know what I would love for one coming up is one like the ski one.
Yeah,
I want them to
love
go
the ski one.
A themed one.
Yes.
Again, and I really, really like those. So this one was a little more of like a normal episode.
What I have to ask you is, do you believe that is Dee's rock bottom? Was that Dee's rock bottom? Yeah, exactly.
There's always more.
I know, there's so much more.
There's always more. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me and chat about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Thank you guys so much for watching with us. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
You guys can find me all over social media at Athletic.
Nice. And I am Mary Lou Mandel. You can find me all over social media at Mary Lou Mandel, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.